All right, this is the second ammo box radio, and it works basically the same as the first one. Over here, you come in through the antenna. It's got standoffs made from plastic. The wire comes from the bottom of the antenna underneath in through a hole into the case. Okay, and then this is one of them Jackson reducer 10-to-1 units. I made this dial myself. I got it scribed. I never calibrated it because I only used this just before bedtime. I had this on a nightstand and I put on the ham. They're on 3.885 in that area, the AM hams on 80 meters. Now this knob here is to tune the antenna and RF circuit. It doesn't track with the main tuning like the last unit. The last unit, I wanted all three tuning capacitors to track together and to read up on it. And how you do it, there's one capacitor that's in series. It's called a padder cap, and what you do is it's in series, so you can operate an oscillator using a 360 picofarad cap. What happens is when you put like a 50 picofarad cap in series with a 365 picofarad cap, it's basically a 0 to 50 picofarad cap then, and that's called padding. And I had a fight on one of the groups. It'll be non-linear. They're all full of shit. Okay, I walked away from that group, and a couple of people still continued to contact me. And then I found the word padder, and then what I was saying was absolutely right. It wasn't non-linear. That's the way they do it. But in this case, on this one, the oscillator tuning is separate from the RF amp and the mixer tuned, okay? And it just gives you more gain. Now, this radio is in an ammo case. This is a Harbor Freight ammo case. And inside here, I'm going to show you where I got the information. But inside here on the schematic, let's see if it shows up. There's a ceramic filter. And you have to put, I didn't do it yet. You have to put that up on a piece of silicon caulking. Because in the ammo case, because it's pretty well air sealed except for the speaker, it can go into self oscillation. Let me see if I can get it to do it. Okay, there's nothing really on right now. Alright. I might have screwed up when I touched that.
Y confía en que él perdonará tus pecados porque él lo ha prometido. ¿Quieres aprender a escuchar la voz suave y apacible? Empieza a hacer un hábito de obedecer a esos suaves codazos del espíritu de Yahweh.
Okay, it works. Okay, every time you move this dial a little bit, you have to readjust the antenna tune. Kind of annoying, but that's what I wanted it for, because I wanted maximum gain on the 80 meter ham band at night. Now, I've been becoming more and more partial to this radio. This thing eats batteries. This is a DX, sheesh, it's Christmas. A DX398. I had my thumb over the number. This eats batteries, but I'm using rechargeable Eno loops. Now this is what I consider the ideal size for a shortwave radio that you're going to move around the house with. The problem is it's not wide enough, so when you stand it up, it's tippy. I bought it from a guy on eBay, and he took the back stand off of it somehow, broke it, whatever. But anyway, oh, and if you buy one of these DX398s, you got to change the speaker. They do sell them. The speaker, the material that the magnet and all that is made out of, it must have been some type of epoxy resin, and it biodegrades. And you get all little chunks of magnets all through the speaker, and it'll be distorted. And then the other radio I always recommend is the DX390. It's a bigger radio. It doesn't eat batteries, it sips them. Okay, now let's lower the antenna on this. I want to show you the inside. This video is going to be kind of long. I'm going to try to cover everything without going into a rant. Now, right away, you'll notice the battery unit. Okay, and on this one, did I make it detachable? Yeah, you disconnect the connector, which makes it nice. Here's your batteries sitting on the lid. Okay, and like I told you, if you use the ammo case, the antenna has to go on this side. Otherwise, this side, in the camera. This side, because the part that does the lever for the lid and all that, that'll be in the way. Okay, but I did drill some holes on that corner, that side. That holes, let's see what the board is. That board is a audio amplifier. You see, this one's backwards from the other one. You come in from the antenna, and here's your oscillator mixer. The mixer and RF amp. Okay, and they're tuned by that tuning cap down in the bottom, sitting down here. All right, that's separate. Here's the one for the oscillator, but there's 3 of them, just like the other radio, but you got more of a leeway with tuning. Now this is a Franklin oscillator. Okay, and you say, well, gee, I don't know what a Franklin oscillator is. Okay, there's the schematic you're going to look for on the internet. Okay? See, all you have to do is point me in the right direction. I find it. Other people, they can't find a golf ball inside a bowl of Post Toasties. Now, I showed you the inside. Actually, this is this board back here. Right, let's get the camera. The camera's never happy. All right, here. This is your IF. There's 3 IFs. One of the IFs is a ceramic filter. Okay, and on the end here, this is an NE602 and an NE602 at the front. Okay, I know how to build radios. So in other words, I did use this to start off with. Now, where did I get the starting information? Okay, here's what you want. Let me get this in frame. Let me show you what it is. You got a picture of a kid's hand tuning a homemade shortwave radio. All right, this is what you want to look for. Shortwave superhet receiver constructions. Okay, R.A. Penfold. Okay, now, how did I find this? There's a whole series by this guy on making radios. I'm tuning through the groups. The guy goes in, I got this book, and all the IF cans don't cross-reference to American IF cans. So my ears go up, or my radar goes up. Okay, the guy found a book. It shows how to make a shortwave radio, but now he's using the I can't get the cross-reference the IF cans. And someone says to him, you know, IF can's an IF can. Is it a 455? Well, anyway, my curiosity went up. He said the name of the guy. I went looking. I found the book. And then I kept looking, and I found 3 more books. This guy, around 1970, he got into transistorized shortwave radios and how to build them. And go look at that book, and it's in a PDF file. You don't have to buy it, okay? Look around the internet, okay? Put that title in there, .pdf, and it'll find it for you. Oh, I can't find it. Did you use Google, or did you use, oh boy. Yeah, anyway, don't ask me any questions, okay? Because I know if you start asking a lot of questions, you're never going to build it. You're never going to build anything, okay? That's what I learned in life. The guys that build stuff ask you a really good question. You know, it's like, did you use, what the heck are they, I got to think about this thing now. This is did you use a Bfo or a product detector in the radio? Now this radio has a Bfo, but it's really a product detector. And you're going to say, what's the difference? Again, go read, okay? Me telling you the difference between a product detector and a cheapy Bfo doesn't do any good because you don't know anything else, okay? I'm just giving you things that you can repeat back on the internet. Oh, the difference between a Bfo and a product detector. The product detector works so much better on sideband. You don't have to cut the RF back. It automatically just does it, okay? That's what you get from people. You give them a phrase to memorize and to regurgitate. And these are the kids I went to school with. The teacher would teach them what to regurgitate. I had trouble. I had to understand what I was doing in order to take a test and do good, okay? I couldn't just learn the answers and regurgitate them. But down here, let's put a light on it. That circuit board down there, okay? That little one there, that's a 455 oscillator. And there's a variable capacitor there also. Let's get the camera on. Variable capacitor, and that's for the product detector, or Bfo. And this is the Bfo on and off switch. This works really good on sideband. Now, that's what I built it for. And I wanted to use toroid coils, and you can see them. There's a toroid coils there. There's two of them, right? Make sure the camera's on there. Two toroid coils. One is for the RF amp, and one's for the mixer, okay? There's another one sitting on this VFO board. This is a Franklin oscillator board. It's got a yellow, a T52 maybe -4 yellow, and that's because yellow doesn't drift. I also used the yellows on the RF amp, and I didn't have to. You can use T52-2s. But a lot of this stuff is going to just seem like, what the hell is he saying? That's because you're not at the level to build this. I mean, you see a radio in an ammo case, and you're better off just doing what that kid did with the bomb. Remember the kid with the bomb? He took the digital clock and put it inside a little miniature suitcase. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. If you can't build anything, you're basically take something apart and remount it in a cabinet. But I went looking on the internet when I did this. I only found someone put an MP3 player in an ammo can. I want to tell you, the sound from an ammo can when it's closed up is a little mushy. It's not great because the thing is basically airtight. And I don't know if I put, yeah, I put under my speaker I have rubber washers. And the next step after the rubber washers is to put some silicone caulking on that ceramic filter so it doesn't go into oscillation. But I built this just so, because I was building it in my head, and I had an IF strip I was going to use. And when I was just looking around and seeing what's going on, and that's when that guy, the British, they use a different IF can. I'm like, is it 455? What's the name of this guy? Penfold? What? Shortwave superhet receiver construction? Sign me up. And I went looking. I found the book for free. Right away. Bang, for free. And then I hooked up with a guy that had a website, and he had built part of that circuit because I continued to look for the name Penfold. And I emailed him, and he emailed me back, and he changed two resistors on the board, on this IF strip board. Here's the schematic. Okay. Me and him both used, what the hell do we use? Silicon transistors. And they have more gain than the old germaniums. Also, this dual gated FET might be hard to find. But if you go through this guy's book, he shows you a couple different options. And you can mix and match and get his other books. And then it's just like, all right, he's got a page where he explains, here's 3 different front ends off the antenna. A good one, a single tuned, a double tuned, okay? And you read it and you understand, but you're going to have to bring to the table some kind of skills. And I had to deal with 2 people in life that didn't have skills, or more than 2, but the most outstanding one was a guy, his last name was like Padner. And Padner was Mr. Bullshit. And he would read up real quick on something and then come up on break time and try to lure somebody into an argument because he had just read it up. There are a lot of those guys out there. They read it, something in the paper. They read it over 3 or 4 times, and then they draw somebody else in. And the other guy is shooting from the hip because he only glanced the article. And that guy was an annoying. And whenever he tried to build something, he never finished it. But in my life, I'm the guy that finishes projects. Okay? And I was surrounded by all these leeches. On Friends, they say they take your breath away from you. There are people that they just ask you questions. They have you find stuff for them. and then they never follow up. I had that even happen here. I had someone email me here. They claimed the toilet bowl lid was broke, and they gave me the number of the toilet, and I went looking. And I said I found one for $39, and then there's some shipping. Oh, I didn't want to pay for it. I thought you knew someone that could just give me one. I was like, I spent 4 hours locating, emailing people to see if they had a replacement toilet bowl lid. And again, a wackadoodle. That person is a wackadoodle. I won't go deep into it. That's what they do to you. They give you assignments to do, and then they never follow up, or they don't. Well, that's not what I was looking for. I thought you know so many people that you could get one, a used one. And I'm like, that's an insult. Well, you knew so many people. So I don't know enough people to get the lid for them for free. Oh, God. And I'm like, you know what? So that's when I started saying to myself, anytime anybody here talks to me, say no first. You know? And they're like, what? No. I don't care. No. And then, no, it's no. I said, I lived in a neighborhood where I constantly catered to this nonsense. We're doing this for a person, doing that for the person. I got nothing to show for it. I'm out in Pennsylvania, didn't even get a Christmas card from anybody. I learned my lesson, okay? And then I put up with people that come over. A guy would actually come over to my house. And he was an engineer. And he goes, I'm trying to fix this radio, but I really need the schematic. He never fixed a radio in his entire life. And I won't go into the story, but so he gives me the model number. I go online, and I find it. And I download it, and I print it out, and I tape it together. It's a pretty big size piece of paper. He goes up to a printing place and has it made 3 times bigger. That radio never got looked at, never got repaired. He got me to come over, because he got me to fix 2 other radios for him. He comes over and he goes, this is the radio. I said, that should be in the garbage. And no matter what he said about the radio, I said, that thing should be in the garbage. Well, yeah. Several times it got flooded on it. A battery blew up in the cellar and it got acid on it. You threw the cabinet out. I said, this stuff doesn't even sell on eBay for parts. It's so bad. Okay? Yeah, but yes, it used to be a great radio in 1937. But it's no longer that radio. You've done stuff to it. Okay? That's what I learned to say. No, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. You're delusional. Okay? And I want to tell you, if you see this and you get excited, you say to yourself, did I ever build a radio from scratch? Do I know how to dig up the IF transformers? Now, when I originally saw the whole thing, this guy, he's not going to build it. He's just going to get other people to start talking about IF transformers. And then they start the fake story. Oh, IF cans are so hard to get now. Nobody has them. It's been 50 years since anybody carried. I'm like, yeah, I bought a package at Radio Shack. It was an oscillator and 3 IF cans. And I had that. I built a radio out of it. And then you can take an old radio and take the IF cans out. Well, anyway, I just keyed in. And I started looking, and I found a reference that Mauser actually had them up to about 10 years ago. They had them. I skim around, all of a sudden I find this surplus place. I'm not going to say the name of the surplus place because you'll go there and they're going to be out of them. But from time to time, these places get full sets of IF cans from like some type of maybe a CB radio, whatever it is. And the last time I bought 10 sets, they were $1.75 for 4 IF cans. One of them was an oscillator. Actually, I take that back. There were 5 for $1 something. One was the oscillator, and one was they give you one where the impedance of the first IF is you can have the first input coil as the tuned coil, or you can use the other cam as the output of the first IF that's tuned. Okay, and on these groups, you just go in there and you cut out the capacitor, and then you add in I'm like, holy crap, did you ever see how small that is? I can actually do it, but they're shooting from the hip because they read it somewhere. And I saw them, $1.10, bing, I clicked on the button, I got them, and that's what these IF cans are. Let me put some more light on it. The only good thing I bought in years is this light. Okay, these IF cans, okay, there's black, there's white, but anyway, They're in the right order, and then their ceramic filter, and you'd say, well, where'd you get the ceramic filter? They're on eBay. Okay? I happen to be in the electronic barn in Bloomfield. They're not there anymore. And they had a whole bin of these things. I mean, 1,000 or more in there. And I took a handful up, and I went over to the checkout with other stuff. And this guy there, he would look at what I bought, and he'd say, give me $5. And other people had a problem with that. But they were selling you surplus. They'd look at what you bought, and they knew what you got was worth more than $5. So they said, give me $5. And some people would actually argue with them. And then the guy would go through it and count it out and say, 3 transistors, 50 cents each. Before you know it, they were past $5. So I learned, just keep quiet. Guy says, give me $5. And he got so used to me not arguing that in the case of these IF cans, he says, IF crystal filter, he says, I'm never going to sell all those. I said, they're pretty good. He goes, yeah, I know they're pretty good, but he says, nobody's building that. He goes, go take another handful. So I went over and I took another handful, and we added in for the whatever I bought. Okay, so strike while the iron's hot. But you can see this is an NE602. This is the product detector. It goes down to that 455 oscillator that's tuned by this knob over here, and that's a product detector. And then it goes over here to the audio output stage. Okay, and this is the Radio Shack circuit for their external speaker. Back in the day, it was an Archer unit. I found the schematic on the internet, and I like it because it's got a lot of gain to it, and you can use it for off a crystal radio set. So I knew that had enough gain to work off this NE602. And then up in the front, in here, instead of using, you see that FET? Let's make sure I'm in the frame here. That FET on the front end, light, got to put the light on it. Okay, there's a FET front end here. I just went into the NE602. I found an article, I think it was My Popular Electronics. You can find it online. They showed how to go into these things. Send your signal in on one side, your oscillator in on the other. Everything is, just picture it as a black box. Each black box hooks to the next stage. And in the black box, it doesn't matter what's inside of it. The black box has ground, it has a plus voltage, and it has an in and an out. And that's how you build a radio. You use modules. And each module has a ground, it has a plus, it has an in and an out. It might have controls, but the controls go into the block. Like this here unit. It has wires, and they use shielded wires too. The shielded wire goes over here, and it turns the Bfo on and off to the NE602. Okay, I use shielded wire for that. And that's the other thing too, when you're building, you know when you have to use shielded wire in the ground, but other people don't. I got a lot at home. And in the old days, people would send me stuff to my house, and I'd pay the return shipping. And I'd get this mangled, retarded, assembled thing, and then I'd email them back, and they're like, they really thought they did a great job. And then you start realizing there's a lot of delusional people out there. They bullshit really big, but then when it comes to do the job, they can't do it. Now, I told you that one guy used to come up and bother us at break time, and the guy that he would talk to was so meek, it was unbelievable. And he'd just sit there and he'd kind of laugh. He'd smoke his pipe and laugh. And this other guy would rattle on what he just read in the newspaper. Very annoying. And I've run into these people my whole life, and most of the time they get me to do the repair. I won't go into all the stories because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories where someone borrowed something from me, told me they knew what they were doing, and brought the tool back broken. And I have I'm not going to loan my tools anymore attitude here. And someone says, I said, I'll come over with it and help you. And I did that. I've done that several times. But you're not going to burn something out on me. And I've broken hammers on other people's projects. And I have to go out and buy a new hammer. Okay, because what we're doing, the person put the thing together with the nails were too big. That happened more than once to me. But yeah, I've been down a terrible road, and it's my fault. I take full responsibility for it. And people I grew up around I knew how to do stuff because I would put the effort into buying tools instead of going drinking on Saturday night. They'd go drinking and piss away their paycheck. And I'd go to the tool store on Friday night after work and I buy a couple tools, and then the rest of the money I put in the bank. And they knew that, and then they were like, well, they spent their money, now they want to use my money indirectly by borrowing my tools and breaking them, and then I have to replace them. And it's amazing what people pull on you. But there is a radio. Like I said, I built this I was sitting there one day, I really haven't built any kind of receiver in a line, and it just became direct conversion radios as a circuit board. I started really pumping stuff out. And like I said, I had 700 videos. And all it does is attract these people from other countries. Hey, can you send me the schematic? And it's in broken English. And they just collect schematics. They don't build anything. They fake it. Their videos are fakes. Okay? And after a while, I just ignore and delete. I become a deleter. I was reading on Shango 66's comment section. I'm like, boy, I can't believe he put up with this crap. And I'm reading. I come back the next time to go through it, and they're gone. You just delete it. You don't have to argue with anybody. Delete, delete, delete. And that's what I've been doing. And then I did block some people, and they could see their message, but I can't see it. Okay? And I have people that just didn't like what I was doing, because I complain. I pick on ham radio operators that don't know how to do anything anymore. You go in those old magazines, those are ham operators that wrote those articles. You don't see that anymore. Okay? I listen to them talk. And they're in politics now. They don't. I got Bob coming to put the antenna up. I don't know anything about it. Bob's coming. The guy, the man, he's coming to put it up. I don't know anything about this. Meanwhile, he's got the extra license or whatever it is, and he's got a 5,000 or 10,000 watt transmitter. But I don't know. I got to get my mic rewired. And I listen to them. And then some nights, you get one of the smarter ones on, and he tells a pretty interesting story. But most of the time, I click it on. And there's certain guys at night, when they're on there droning on, about politics, I just shut it off. Yeah, this has radio's on and off switch. I think that's it. All right, that's it.